Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribers. At 3,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. The twin suns of Draconis 5 were setting, their fiery descent casting long shadows across the endless dunes. The sky blazed with hues of crimson and gold, yet the beauty of the scene did little to comfort Thar and Lyra. The brothers huddled together, their delicate forms trembling in the rapidly cooling desert air. Their smooth blue-green skin shimmered faintly, a stark contrast to the harsh, sandy landscape that surrounded them. Their large, luminous eyes, filled with a mixture of fear and uncertainty, scanned the horizon for any sign of salvation. They had been wandering for days, ever since the space pirates had attacked their family's modest home. The memory of their parents' desperate last stand was etched into their minds, a constant reminder of their sudden and tragic loss. Thar, the older of the two, tried to remain strong for his younger brother, but the weight of their situation was beginning to wear on him. Lyra, clutching the tattered remains of a blanket, looked to his brother for reassurance, his eyes silently pleading for a sense of security. As the temperature continued to drop, the brothers' hopes dwindled. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm them, the distant hum of an engine broke the silence. A flicker of hope ignited in their hearts as they turned toward the sound. Through the haze of dust and sand, a vehicle emerged, its headlights piercing the twilight. It was a hovercraft, old and battered, but functional. The hovercraft came to a halt a few meters away, and a figure disembarked. Clad in worn, practical gear, the human stood tall and imposing. His face was hardened by years of toil and struggle, a permanent scowl etched into his features. He approached the brothers with measured steps, his gaze assessing them with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "What are you two doing out here?" he asked, his voice rough and gravelly. Thar hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. We lost our parents. The pirates, they killed them," he finally admitted, his voice trembling. The man's expression softened ever so slightly. "Name's Rodrik," he said almost reluctantly. "Get in before I change my mind." With that terse invitation, the brothers clambered aboard the hovercraft. The interior was as utilitarian as its exterior, filled with various tools and supplies. Rodrik started the engine, and the vehicle lurched forward, heading toward the distant lights of a small settlement. The journey was silent, save for the steady hum of the hovercraft. Thar and Lyra exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to expect from their gruff rescuer. Rodrik's demeanor was intimidating, and his lack of warmth did little to ease their anxiety. Yet beneath his rough exterior, there was a glimmer of something more, a hint of empathy perhaps, or a buried sense of responsibility. As they approached the settlement, the lights grew brighter, revealing a modest collection of buildings huddled together against the desert's harshness. Rodrik guided the hovercraft to a stop outside a small, nondescript structure. "This is my place," he said, stepping out and motioning for the brothers to follow. Inside, the building was sparse but functional. The walls were lined with shelves filled with various mechanical parts and tools. A small kitchen area and a couple of cots indicated that this space served as both workshop and home. Rodrik gestured toward the cots. "You can sleep there," he said gruffly, "but don't touch anything unless I say so." The brothers nodded, grateful for the shelter, and too exhausted to question the conditions. As they settled onto the cots, Rodrik busied himself with preparing a simple meal. He placed a couple of plates on the table and motioned for the brothers to eat. They hesitated, but hunger soon overpowered their caution, and they devoured the food with a voracity born of days, without proper sustenance. Rodrik watched them silently, his expression unreadable. After they had eaten, he leaned back in his chair, studying them with a critical eye. "Tomorrow you'll start working. There's plenty to do around here, and you'll earn your keep," he said firmly. Thar and Lyra nodded in unison, understanding the unspoken terms of their stay. They were grateful for the opportunity, even if it came with strings attached. As they lay down to sleep that night, the brothers felt a strange mix of emotions. They were safe, at least for now, but the uncertainty of their future loomed large. The following morning, Rodrik wasted no time putting the brothers to work. Thar, with his innate mechanical aptitude, was tasked with repairing various pieces of equipment under Rodrik's watchful eye. Lyra, though younger, showed a keen interest in navigation, and quickly learned the basics of the ship's controls. Despite Rodrik's stern demeanor, the brothers sensed a subtle shift in his attitude. He began to offer guidance and instruction, albeit in his gruff manner. Thar and Lyra responded with diligence and enthusiasm, eager to prove their worth and perhaps earn a bit of his respect. Days turned into weeks, and the brothers settled into their new routine. They learned more about Rodrik's past, piecing together fragments of his story through his occasional guarded admissions. He had once lost his own family, a tragedy that had hardened him and driven him into a solitary existence. Now, with Thar and Lyra, he found himself in an unfamiliar role, one that stirred emotions he had long buried. One evening, as the three of them sat around the small table, Thar gathered the courage to ask the question that had been on his mind since their rescue. "Rodrik, why did you help us?" Rodrik paused, his gaze distant. "Because I couldn't save my own," he said quietly, the admission heavy with unspoken pain. "Maybe this is my chance to make up for that." Thar and Lyra exchanged a look, understanding more about their human guardian than he had intended to reveal. In that moment, a silent bond was forged, a connection built on shared loss and the hope of a better future. As they continued their journey together, the brothers and Rodrik faced numerous challenges and dangers. Yet, through it all, their bond grew stronger. What had begun as a desperate plea for survival had evolved into something far more profound. A family, forged in the harshest of circumstances and united by a resilience that defied the odds. And so, in the heart of the desert and beyond, the orphaned alien brothers and their unlikely human guardian embarked on a journey that would test their limits, challenge their perceptions, and ultimately redefine the meaning of family and home. The Ironclad was a marvel of utilitarian design, a spaceship built not for comfort, but for endurance. Its metallic corridors echoed with the hum of machinery and the distant clank of tools, a testament to its hard-working owner. As Thar and Lyra acclimated to their new surroundings, they marveled at the ship's complex systems, a far cry from the simplicity of their former home. Rodrik wasted no time in putting the brothers to work. Thar, who had shown an aptitude for mechanics, was assigned to help in the engine room. The space was cramped and filled with a labyrinth of pipes and wires. Under Rodrik's gruff supervision, Thar quickly learned the basics of maintaining the ship's critical systems. "Hand me the hydrospanner," Rodrik barked, his voice rough but not unkind. Thar scrambled to comply, his fingers deftly navigating the unfamiliar tools. "Here," he said, passing the instrument to Rodrik, who nodded in approval. "Not bad, kid. Just make sure you don't cross the wires on that circuit board, or we'll have more than just a minor malfunction," Rodrik advised, his tone a mix of stern instruction and cautious encouragement. Meanwhile, Lyra found himself in the navigation room, a place filled with star maps, charts, and a myriad of control panels. Despite his youth, Lyra's keen mind quickly grasped the basics of the ship's navigation systems. He spent hours studying the maps, fascinated by the vast expanse of the galaxy and the countless worlds waiting to be explored. "Focus on the task at hand, Lyra," Rodrik's voice crackled over the comm. "We need to plot a course to the nearest trade hub. Can't afford any mistakes." Lyra nodded, even though Rodrik couldn't see him. "Understood, Captain. I'll make sure we stay on course," he replied, his fingers dancing over the controls with growing confidence. Days turned into weeks, and the brothers settled into their roles aboard the Ironclad. They worked diligently, eager to prove their worth and repay Rodrik's grudging kindness. Despite the harsh conditions and the demanding work, a sense of routine began to take shape. One evening, as the ship glided through the inky blackness of space, Rodrik gathered the brothers in the mess hall. The room was small and sparsely furnished, but it was a place where they could share a meal and a rare moment of respite. "Tomorrow, we're docking at Vesper Station," Rodrik announced, his gaze sweeping over Thar and Lyra. "It's a rough place, but we need supplies and parts. Stick close and don't draw attention to yourselves." Thar and Lyra exchanged a glance, understanding the implicit warning in Rodrik's words. They had seen enough of the galaxy's dangers to know that places like Vesper Station were fraught with risks. As the ship approached the station, its towering spires and bustling docks came into view. The station was a hive of activity, with ships of all shapes and sizes coming and going. Rodrik guided the ironclad into a docking bay with practiced ease. Once docked, the brothers followed Rodrik through the maze of corridors and market stalls that made up Vesper station. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices and the hum of conversations in a dozen different languages. It was a place of commerce and opportunity, but also of danger and deceit. Rodrik moved with purpose, his presence commanding respect, or at least wary avoidance, from those they passed. He led the brothers to a parts dealer, a grizzled old man who eyed them with suspicion. "Need these parts," Rodrik said, handing over a list. "And don't try to gouge me on the price, Orrin. You know better." Orrin grumbled but complied, disappearing into the back of his shop to fetch the requested items. As they waited, Thar and Lyra observed the bustling market, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Stay sharp," Rodrik muttered, his gaze scanning the crowd. "This place can turn on you in an instant." Just as Orrin returned with the parts, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of rough-looking men were arguing with a vendor, their voices rising in anger. The situation quickly escalated, and within moments, weapons were drawn. "Get down!" Rodrik hissed, pulling the brothers behind a stack of crates. They crouched low, hearts pounding as blaster fire erupted around them. Rodrik peeked over the crates, assessing the situation. "Stay here," he ordered, before slipping into the fray with a fluid, practiced motion. Thar and Lyra watched in awe as Rodrik expertly disarmed one of the attackers and subdued another with a well-placed punch. Despite his age and grizzled appearance, he moved with the agility and precision of a seasoned warrior. The fight was over as quickly as it had begun. Rodrik returned to the brothers, his expression grim but composed. "Let's get what we came for and get out of here," he said, his tone brooking no argument. As they made their way back to the ship, the brothers couldn't help but feel a newfound respect for their guardian. Rodrik might be harsh and demanding, but he was also fiercely protective and undeniably skilled. Back aboard the ironclad, they secured the new parts and set course for their next destination. As the ship slipped back into the vastness of space, Thar and Lyra reflected on the day's events. They had faced danger and uncertainty, but they had also seen a side of Rodrik that hinted at a deeper connection, a bond forged not just by circumstance, but by a shared determination to survive and protect each other. Their journey was far from over, and many challenges lay ahead, but for the first time the brothers felt a sense of hope and belonging. They were not alone in this vast, unforgiving galaxy. They had found a home, and perhaps even a family, aboard the ironclad. In the vast emptiness of space, the days blurred together, punctuated only by the hum of the ironclad's engines and the steady rhythm of work. Thar and Lyra had grown accustomed to the ship's routines and Rodrik's demanding expectations, but beneath the gruff commands and terse instructions, something had begun to shift in their relationships. It started one quiet evening in the engine room. Thar was hunched over a particularly stubborn piece of machinery, his hands smeared with grease and his brow furrowed in concentration. Rodrik watched from the doorway, arms crossed over his chest. "Need a hand?" Rodrik offered, his voice softer than usual. Thar looked up, surprised by the offer. "Sure, I could use some help with this coupling. It's not aligning properly." Rodrik stepped forward, kneeling beside Thar. Together they worked in silence, their hands moving in tandem. After a few minutes, the coupling finally snapped into place. "There, that should do it," Rodrik said, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. Thar smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. "Thanks, Captain. I appreciate the help." Rodrik gave a curt nod, but his eyes held a warmth that hadn't been there before. "You're getting better, Thar. Keep it up." Meanwhile, in the navigation room, Lyra was engrossed in the star charts, plotting their next course. His fingers danced over the controls, adjusting coordinates and checking calculations. He was so focused that he didn't notice Rodrik enter the room. "How's it looking?" Rodrik asked, leaning over Lyra's shoulder. Lyra jumped, startled by the sudden presence. "Oh, Captain, I didn't hear you come in. I'm just making sure our course is set for the trade route. We should reach the next station in about 3 days. Rodrik nodded, a hint of a smile tugging at his lips. "Good work, Lyra. You've got a knack for this. Ever think about becoming a navigator?" Lyra's eyes lit up at the compliment. "Really? You think I could?" "Absolutely," Rodrik replied, clapping Lyra on the shoulder. You've got the talent and the dedication. Just keep learning and stay focused." As the days passed, these small moments of connection grew more frequent. Rodrik found himself sharing stories from his past, tales of his adventures and the people he had met along the way. Thar and Lyra listened with rapt attention, their eyes wide with wonder. One evening, as they gathered in the mess hall for dinner, Rodrik told them about a planet he had visited years ago. "It was called Valta 7, he said, his voice tinged with nostalgia. "A beautiful place, covered in lush forests and crystal-clear lakes. The people there were some of the kindest I've ever met." Lyra leaned forward, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "What happened to them?" Rodrik's expression darkened. "They were attacked by raiders. I tried to help, but there was only so much I could do." A heavy silence settled over the room. Thar and Lyra exchanged a glance, understanding the pain in Rodrik's voice. They knew what it was like to lose everything, to feel helpless in the face of overwhelming odds. "You did your best," Thar said quietly. "Sometimes that's all anyone can do." Rodrik looked at the brothers, his eyes filled with a mix of gratitude and sorrow. "Thanks, kid. That means a lot." Their bond continued to strengthen, forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. One day, as they worked together to repair a damaged section of the ship's hull, Thar noticed a small tattoo on Rodrik's wrist, a symbol he didn't recognize. "What's that?" Thar asked, pointing to the tattoo. Rodrik glanced at his wrist, a distant look in his eyes. "It's an old insignia from my time with the Galactic Rangers. We were a group of peacekeepers, back when there was still hope for order in this part of the galaxy." "Why did you leave?" Lyra asked, his voice filled with curiosity. Rodrik sighed, the weight of old memories pressing down on him. "Things changed. Corruption, bureaucracy. It became more about politics than helping people. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I struck out on my own." Thar and Lyra nodded, understanding the disillusionment that had driven Rodrik away from the organization he once believed in. They admired his integrity, his refusal to compromise his principles. One night, as they sat around a small fire on a barren moon where they had landed for repairs, Thar spoke up. "Rodrik, do you ever regret leaving the Rangers?" Rodrik stared into the flickering flames, his expression contemplative. "Sometimes. But then I remember why I left, and I know it was the right choice. I found my own way to make a difference, even if it's not on a grand scale." Lyra nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "You've made a difference for us, Captain. You've given us a chance when no one else would." Rodrik's gaze softened, a rare smile spreading across his face. "And you two have given me something I didn't know I needed, a reason to keep going." As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead, the trio sat in comfortable silence, each lost in their thoughts. They had come a long way from the frightened orphans and the grizzled loner who had rescued them. Together, they had formed a bond that transcended their individual pasts, a bond built on trust, respect, and a shared determination to survive and protect each other. Their journey was far from over, and they knew that more challenges awaited them in the vast expanse of space. But for now, in this moment of peace and camaraderie, they found solace in the knowledge that they were no longer alone. They were a family, united by their resilience and their unwavering belief in each other. As the fire burned low and the night grew colder, Rodrik stood and stretched. "We should get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day and we've got work to do." Thar and Lyra nodded, rising to their feet. They followed Rodrik back to the ship, their hearts warmed by the knowledge that they'd found a home and a family aboard the Ironclad. No matter what lay ahead, they would face it together, stronger for the bond they'd forged in the depths of space. The Ironclad glided through the dark expanse of space, its engines humming steadily as Thar and Lyra tended to their respective tasks. The ship had seen its share of battles and close calls, but today was supposed to be a routine run to deliver supplies to a remote outpost on the edge of known space. Rodrik, Thar, and Lyra worked in synchronized harmony, each one focused on their roles. "Approaching the outpost," Lyra reported from the navigation room. "ETA 5 minutes. Rodrik's voice crackled over the comm. "Keep an eye on the scanners, Lyra. We've had reports of pirate activity in this sector." Lyra nodded, his fingers deftly adjusting the controls to enhance the sensor readings. Thar, down in the engine room, was doing a final check on the ship's systems to ensure everything was running smoothly. Without warning, the ship's sensors blared an alarm. "Captain, we've got company," Lyra shouted, his eyes wide with alarm as he scanned the readings. "3 pirate ships closing in fast from the port side." Rodrik's response was immediate. "All hands to battle stations. Thar, get the shields up to full power. Lyra, plot us a course to evade." Thar's hands flew over the controls, boosting the ship's shields to maximum capacity. "Shields at full, Captain," he confirmed, his voice steady despite the rising tension. Lyra's mind raced as he calculated an evasive maneuver. "Course plotted. Engaging thrusters now," he said, the ironclad lurching as it veered sharply to avoid the incoming pirates. The ship shuddered under the impact of enemy fire, but the shields held. Rodrik maneuvered the ironclad with practiced skill, returning fire with the ship's laser cannons. "Stay focused, everyone. We can't let them board us," he barked, his eyes never leaving the viewport. The pirates were relentless, their ships darting in and out of range as they tried to overwhelm the ironclad. Thar worked furiously to maintain the shields, rerouting power from non-essential systems to keep them operational. Sweat dripped down his face, but he remained resolute. "Captain, they're trying to flank us," Lyra warned, his voice tense. "I see them," Rodrik growled, adjusting the ship's trajectory to counter the maneuver. "Thar, we need more power to the forward cannons." "On it," Thar replied, his hands a blur as he diverted power to the weapons. The ship's forward cannons roared to life, unleashing a barrage of fire that forced the pirates to retreat. Despite their best efforts, one of the pirate ships managed to get a grappling hook attached to the ironclad. The ship shuddered as the pirates began to reel them in. "We're being boarded," Lyra shouted, fear creeping into his voice. Rodrik's expression hardened. "Thar, get to the airlock and prepare to repel boarders. Lyra, stay on the bridge and keep those cannons firing." Thar sprinted through the corridors, his heart pounding. He reached the airlock just as the pirates began cutting through the hull. He grabbed a blaster from the weapons locker and took cover behind a bulkhead. The airlock door burst open, and a group of pirates charged in, weapons drawn. Thar took a deep breath and fired, his shots precise and deadly. He took down 2 pirates before they even had a chance to react. More pirates poured in, but Thar held his ground. His training and natural instincts kicked in, guiding his movements as he fought to protect the ship and his newfound family. Despite the chaos, he remained calm and focused, his determination unwavering. In the midst of the firefight, a particularly large pirate lunged at Thar, knocking the blaster from his hand. Thar struggled against the brute's strength, using his agility to evade the pirate's attacks. He grabbed a nearby pipe and swung it with all his might, striking the pirate across the head and sending him crashing to the floor. Breathing heavily, Thar retrieved his blaster and continued to fend off the remaining pirates. The sound of footsteps behind him made him whirl around, only to find Rodrik charging into the fray, his own blaster blazing. "Nice work, kid," Rodrik said, covering Thar as they pushed the remaining pirates back toward the airlock. Together, they managed to seal the breach, ejecting the last of the pirates into the void of space. Thar slumped against the wall, his body aching from the exertion, but a sense of triumph coursing through him. "Captain, the other pirate ships are retreating." Lyra's voice crackled over the comm, filled with relief. Rodrik nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. "Good job, both of you. Let's make sure the ship is secure and get back on course." As they regrouped in the mess hall later, the adrenaline of battle still fresh in their veins, Rodrik clapped Thar on the shoulder. "You handled yourself well back there. You've got the makings of a fine warrior." Thar beamed with pride. "Thanks, Captain. I couldn't have done it without your training." Lyra joined them, his eyes shining with excitement. "That was incredible. I thought for sure we were done for, but we pulled through." Rodrik looked at his crew, a sense of pride and affection filling his heart. "We've faced worse and come out stronger. We're a team, and together there's nothing we can't handle." As the ship continued on its journey, the bond between Rodrik, Thar, and Lyra grew even stronger. They had faced danger head-on and emerged victorious, their trust in each other solidified by the heat of battle. Their journey was far from over, but they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by their unbreakable bond. The stars stretched out before them, a vast and uncharted expanse waiting to be explored. With the ironclad as their home and each other as their family, they were ready for whatever the universe had in store. The ironclad drifted through the void, its exterior marked with the scars of countless battles. Inside, Thar, Lyra and Rodrik worked to repair the damages from their recent skirmish with the pirates. The ship was their home, and they treated it with a mix of reverence and practicality, knowing that its well-being was intrinsically linked to their own survival. "Lyra, check the integrity of the port thrusters," Rodrik ordered, his voice echoing through the comm system. "Thar, see if you can stabilize the power fluctuations in the engine core." "On it, Captain," Lyra responded, moving swiftly to the thruster controls. Thar nodded, heading to the engine room with a determined stride. The core had been acting up since their last encounter, and he was eager to solve the problem before it could escalate. He knelt beside the humming machinery, his tools laid out neatly beside him. As Thar worked, he noticed a faint crack in one of the core's conduits. "Found the issue, Captain," he reported. "It's a crack in the main conduit. I'll need to seal it and reinforce the structure." "Good, make it quick," Rodrik replied. "We can't afford any more delays." Thar focused on the task at hand, his hands steady and precise as he applied the sealant and reinforced the conduit. Sweat trickled down his forehead, but he paid it no mind. The ship's hum steadied, a sign that his efforts were paying off. Meanwhile, Lyra was diligently inspecting the port thrusters. He ran diagnostic scans, cross-referencing the data with the ship's systems. A small but significant anomaly caught his eye. "Captain, there's a misalignment in the thruster array. It's minor but could cause issues during high-speed maneuvers. Can you fix it?" Rodrik asked. "Yes, but I'll need to recalibrate the entire array. It'll take a few hours," Lyra replied, his fingers already dancing over the controls to initiate the process. "Do what you need to. Better safe than sorry," Rodrik said. As Lyra worked, he found himself lost in thought, reflecting on how far they had come. The routines, though demanding, had become a source of comfort and stability. He and Thar had grown stronger, more capable under Rodrik's stern guidance. They had formed a family in the unlikeliest of places. Hours passed, and the repairs were finally completed. The brothers reconvened with Rodrik on the bridge, their faces showing the fatigue of their labor, but also a sense of accomplishment. "Everything's back online and functioning within optimal parameters," Thar reported, a hint of pride in his voice. "Thrusters are recalibrated and should be more efficient now," Lyra added. Rodrik nodded, a rare smile tugging at his lips. "Good work, both of you. We're ready to move on." Their next destination was a small mining colony on the planet Xerxes 4. The colony had put out a distress call, reporting trouble with their automated systems and a potential threat from raiders. Rodrik had accepted the job without hesitation, knowing the importance of maintaining alliances and securing resources. As they approached the planet, the ship's sensors picked up signs of activity around the colony. "Looks like the raiders beat us here," Rodrik muttered, his expression darkening. "Get ready for a fight." Thar and Lyra moved to their battle stations, their movements confident and practiced. They had faced similar threats before, and while the danger was real, they trusted in their abilities and each other. "Thar, keep the shields at maximum," Rodrik instructed. "Lyra, I need you on the targeting systems. We'll need to be precise to avoid hitting the colony." The raiders' ships came into view, sleek and menacing as they circled the mining facility. Rodrik guided the ironclad into position, the ship's cannons primed and ready. The battle began in earnest, laser fire streaking across the void. Lyra's sharp eyes and steady hands made quick work of the targeting systems, his shots taking down one raider ship after another. Thar maintained the shields, his fingers flying over the controls to adjust power levels and deflect incoming fire. "Incoming from the starboard side," Lyra shouted, spotting a trio of raider ships attempting to flank them. Rodrik swung the ship around, bringing its cannons to bear on the new threat. "Lyra, take out the leader. Thar, divert power to the forward shields." The ship lurched as it absorbed the brunt of the raiders' attack. Lyra focused, lining up his shot with precision. "Got him," he said, firing a barrage that obliterated the lead ship. The remaining raiders, seeing their leader destroyed, broke off their attack and fled. The colony was safe, at least for the moment. Rodrik exhaled, a mixture of relief and exhaustion in his voice. "Good work, team. Let's get down there and see what we can do to help." They landed the ironclad near the colony's main hub, the atmosphere thick with tension. The colonists, a mix of humans and various alien species, greeted them with wary gratitude. The head of the colony, a stern-looking woman named Commander Arya, approached them. "Thank you for responding to our call," Arya said, her tone formal but appreciative. "We've been having issues with our automated defenses, and the raiders have taken advantage of our vulnerabilities. We're here to help," Rodrik replied. "Thar, Lyra, start assessing the damage and see what you can do to get their systems back online." The brothers set to work, examining the colony's defense grid and automated systems. Thar's mechanical expertise and Lyra's knowledge of navigation and control systems proved invaluable. They worked tirelessly, their determination fueled by the knowledge that lives depended on their success. As they labored, Arya observed them with a keen eye. "You've got a good crew," she remarked to Rodrik. "They're efficient and work well together." Rodrik nodded, his pride evident. "They're more than just a crew. They're family." Thar and Lyra's efforts paid off as the defense grid flickered back to life, the automated turrets whirring into position. The colony's security systems came online, creating a protective barrier that would deter any further raider attacks. "We've restored the systems," Thar reported to Commander Arya. "Your defenses should be fully operational now." Arya's expression softened, a rare smile gracing her features. "Thank you. You've given us a fighting chance." As they prepared to depart, the colonists gathered to see them off. There was a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect, born from the shared experience of facing danger and overcoming it together. Back aboard the ironclad, Thar and Lyra settled into their routine, their bond with Rodrik stronger than ever. They had proven themselves time and again, and their confidence had grown with each challenge they faced. Rodrik called them to the bridge, his gaze steady and filled with a sense of purpose. "We've done good work today, but there's always more to be done. Stay sharp and remember, we're a team. We face whatever comes our way together." The brothers nodded, their resolve unwavering. They had found their place in the galaxy, not just as survivors, but as protectors and adventurers. Their journey was far from over, but with Rodrik by their side, they were ready for whatever the stars had in store. As the ironclad set off toward their next destination, the vast expanse of space stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities and new horizons. Together, they would navigate the challenges and adventures that lay ahead, bound by their unbreakable bond and their shared determination to make a difference in a galaxy fraught with peril. The ironclad drifted through space, the vastness of the cosmos stretching infinitely around them. The crew had barely recovered from their last mission when a new challenge presented itself. This time it was a message from the Galactic Alliance, a coalition of planets and species working together to maintain peace and order in the galaxy. Rodrik read the communiqué aloud to Thar and Lyra as they gathered on the bridge. "We've received reports of a potential terrorist threat on the planet Zarkon 5. The Alliance is requesting immediate assistance to prevent an attack on the capital city." Thar's eyes widened. "Zarkon 5 is a major hub. If something happens there, it could affect the entire region." Rodrik nodded, his expression serious. "Exactly. We can't let that happen. We need to get there as fast as possible and figure out what's going on." Lyra quickly plotted a course to Zarkon 5, his fingers flying over the navigation controls. "Course set, Captain. We'll be there in a few hours." The ship's engines roared to life, propelling them through the vast expanse of space toward their destination. As they approached Zarkon 5, the capital city of Zarka came into view, a sprawling metropolis of gleaming skyscrapers and bustling streets. They landed at a secure Alliance facility on the outskirts of the city, where they were met by Commander Tessa, a stern-faced human woman with a no-nonsense demeanor. "Thank you for coming on such short notice," she said, shaking Rodrik's hand. "We've received credible intelligence that a terrorist group plans to detonate a bomb in the heart of the city. We need to find and neutralize the threat before it's too late." Rodrik wasted no time. "We'll need access to all the information you have on the group and their suspected hideouts. Thar, Lyra, you're with me. We're going to need to move fast." The crew spent the next few hours poring over data and strategizing with Alliance security forces. Thar analyzed the intelligence reports, identifying patterns and potential locations where the terrorists might be hiding. Lyra used his navigation skills to map out the fastest routes through the city. "We've narrowed it down to 3 possible locations," Thar said, pointing to a holographic map of the city. "We need to check them all, but we don't have much time." Commander Tessa nodded. "We'll divide into teams. Rodrik, you take Thar and Lyra to the first location. My team will handle the second, and another squad will cover the third." With their plan in place, the teams moved out. Rodrik led Thar and Lyra through the bustling streets of Zarka, their eyes scanning for any signs of trouble. The first location was an abandoned warehouse on the edge of the city's industrial district. They approached the building cautiously, their weapons at the ready. Rodrik signaled for Thar and Lyra to flank the entrance while he moved in from the front. The warehouse was dark and silent, but there was a sense of foreboding in the air. Thar and Lyra slipped inside, their movements silent and precise. They scanned the area, their eyes adjusting to the dim light. Suddenly a shadow moved, and a figure lunged at Thar from the darkness. Thar reacted instinctively, dodging the attack and firing his blaster. The figure crumpled to the ground, a stunned look on his face. "Clear!" Thar called out, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. Rodrik and Lyra joined him, their eyes sweeping the room for any more threats. They found a group of terrorists huddled in a corner, assembling a makeshift bomb. Rodrik didn't hesitate, his blaster firing with deadly accuracy. The terrorists were taken down before they could react. Lyra moved to disarm the bomb, his hands steady as he carefully dismantled the device. "This is a sophisticated setup," he muttered, his brow furrowed in concentration, "but I think I can handle it." Rodrik and Thar stood guard, their eyes on the lookout for any more attackers. Minutes ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity. Finally, Lyra let out a sigh of relief. "Got it, the bomb is disarmed." They reported their success to Commander Tessa, who confirmed that the other teams had also neutralized threats at their locations. The immediate danger had been averted, but there was still work to be done to ensure the city's safety. Back at the Alliance facility, Commander Tessa thanked them for their help. "You've saved countless lives today. The Alliance owes you a debt of gratitude." Rodrik nodded. "We're just glad we could help. If you need us again, you know where to find us." As the ironclad lifted off from Zarkan 5, the crew felt a sense of accomplishment. They had faced a formidable threat and emerged victorious, their bond as strong as ever. But there was little time for rest. The galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place, and there were always new challenges on the horizon. Rodrik gathered Thar and Lyra on the bridge, his expression serious but proud. "We've done good work today, but we can't afford to let our guard down. There will always be new threats, new missions. We have to stay sharp and be ready for anything." Thar and Lyra nodded, their resolve unwavering. They had proven themselves time and again, and they were ready to face whatever the universe threw at them. Together they were a force to be reckoned with, a family bound by their shared experiences and their unwavering commitment to each other. As the stars stretched out before them, the crew of the ironclad set their sights on the future. They knew that there would be more battles to fight, more lives to save, and more adventures to be had. But with Rodrik at the helm and Thar and Lyra by his side, they were ready for whatever came their way. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with potential dangers and opportunities. But for now, they sailed through the galaxy with a sense of purpose and determination, their hearts united by the unbreakable bond that had been forged through their trials and triumphs. Together, they would face the future with courage and hope, knowing that they had each other to rely on. And as long as they were together, there was no challenge too great, no threat too daunting, and no adventure too perilous for the crew of the ironclad.